I'm Mike Lindsay from Tunng.
And I'm Sam from Tunng.
I saw the sun, I saw the sun, I saw the sun fall on everyone. I saw the sun, the people had to run.
Well, it's as good a name as any, I think. We just kind of made it up and had a lot of names written down. It seemed to kind of fit our music, but it means nothing or everything.
I think that's why we liked it, because it doesn't mean anything. So you sort of put your own meaning on it.
I heard the sound, I heard the sound, I heard the sound in the beauty ground. I heard the sound, the people gathered round. I touched the lips and the casino chips. I touched the lips and the people fell in love.
It started with me and Sam as a sort of studio project, and we made noises and hung out in a small dark room for quite a long time. And then we released a record and realised we were rubbish at playing it, so we thought we'd get some more people to help us. Hence the band.
Very much a band, so I mean, I think the thing is that all the ideas that all the different people have eventually goes to the studio where Mike produces it, and I think that gives everything a sound like that is Tunng really. But everyone had ideas that got used in the writing. Everyone came into the studio at different times and put ideas, made comments, and talked about what things we were going to use and that kind of thing. But it all goes through a kind of filter of Mike's productions.
I think also we've been playing together as a band for like 3 years, so we've become kind of friends and drinking pals, and we've had a lot of adventures together. So I'd say it's a band.
I think that those things we did together had a big impact on a lot of the songs. Like a lot of the songs on the album were based on things that happened whilst we were touring, or were written in hotel rooms on tour. So it's very much a product of the six people.
You've grown up so much since I saw you those days ago. Still got that look about you, still got those things that we know. Regularly placing the words and the words that we said. Twisted branches that hid all the things that we did.
I don't know, I mean, I think it's just a case of wanting to do some different kinds of soundscapes in general, and I'm maybe not as excited by that sort of glitchy electronica sound that we were using. I wanted to move on, and I think the process is actually very electronic. It's all been put together on a computer, and a lot of the field recordings we used, we recorded ourselves on tour, and then I chop that up as if it were electronic noises, but make sort of beats and samples out of those. So I think it's got an electronic process, but it might not sound as electronic.
You touch the edges of their wings and the inside of me. All of the years make a picture that's faded and bright. Make us different and faded and bright. Bring back the bodies and lay them out for me. Smooth down their crisp clear white wings in the morning. Bring back the yellow and black coffee bodies. Lay them out slowly. String them gently for me.
Partly because it's fun, but also it makes lots of strange sounds, so it brings in all sorts of sounds that you wouldn't otherwise get. But I think it's very visual. Like the tubes looks, I think as a visual thing, then it's great on stage.
They make a good noise as well,
Yeah.
But, they look quite good. But Martin has a collection of strange, wonky percussion and seashells and bits of wood, and I don't know, and he plays all sorts of things, and I like the fact that each side of the stage you had the electronics on one side and ambient sort of percussion on one side, on the other side, and that kind of sounds like the sound of Tunng to me, really, like, but in a visual kind of way.
Bring back the bodies and open them for me. Lift out the shimmering hearts in the morning. Bring back the yellow and black of the ocean. Let me out slowly, sing to me coldly. Bring back the yellow and black of the bodies. Bring me out slowly, softly, sensitively.
I think it's different for everybody. For me, I have loads of enjoyment out of both things, and I think they are completely different for me, but depends on the show as well, like, you know, and where we play. So I don't know, I like being in the studio a lot though. I spend most of my time.
All eyes ablaze, you saw it in the old light. Whoa, in the old light. 70 years to fly, closer to the sunlight. Whoa, to the sunlight. Sit to the stereo, making dirty pictures with her hands in the lamplight. Knows where the mourners go. We'll sing a coronet, bringing you back from the grey light.
I think it's a good thing. I think creatively, it's amazing how much stuff is out there, easy to listen to, and how many people are brought together because of the internet and because you can get in contact with bands all over the world, and people can make collaborations and things. So I think ultimately it's going to be a good thing.
I think it's evolution really, and yeah, I think it's good too. It's fine. Steal music.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I think it's true that it's maybe harder to make a good living doing what we do as it might have been 20 years ago. So I think a lot of people in bands do other things and do other jobs, but I think technology is sort of levelling the playing field. I think the more technology progresses, the more talent and ideas matter, as opposed to whether you've got money to pay for equipment or studio time. So I think it's really good.
I would say, well, there's two actually, and they're both American. One's Port O'Brien, which I've been really liking, and one's Sam Amidon, who I'm in love with.
Sam Amidon is fantastic. I've not heard of Port O'Brien yet, actually.
You'll like
but
it.
I like it, yeah. Serafina Steer, Cheaper Bastards.
Eyes ablaze, you saw it in the old light. Whoa.